It's a windy day. Flags are falling off their tacks on the wall. Okay, warm up here, 585. Then I'll work up to, I think 620 will be my next set. Yeah, I'll go 620 for the pause dead for my top triple. Same exact weight I hit the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, it was kind of a grinder. Last week, I remember it moved really well. I don't use my OVR for the pause deadlifts because it doesn't really make sense unless you can standardize the length of your pause, or else that reading is going to be skewed. The velocity is going to be skewed. So I'll throw 620 on. That'll be my top triple. Then I'll back off for a few back off sets. 620 for a top triple. Honestly, the warm-ups weren't feeling that great today. This one might be a grinder, and that's kind of why I'm not progressing in weight. But I do at least want to hit the same weight I've done the last couple of weeks. Went pretty well, I'm happy with that. Let's hit 600 for my next back off, my first back off. Four reps. Good, 600 for 4. Take some more weight off and do another set. We'll get to some questions here. Will the Haas Project 2 include any example videos? I don't think so, dude, honestly. If you're purchasing the Haas Project 2, you're probably invested in a training. Most of the, I don't need a big exercise bank for back squat, front squat, deadlift, for like all the basic exercises. And then if you're gonna, I don't know, the exercises are pretty understandable. Like a Larson press, if you don't know what a Larson press is, all you have to do is just Google it or look it up on YouTube. I don't think, that would create a lot of extra work for me, which might make me sound kind of lazy, but I don't think I need to do that. If you're purchasing my product, you probably know what all the exercises are. If you don't know what the exercises are, they're very simple to find. There might be some exercises. So what I'm doing, the way I'm creating it is I'm gonna allow the user to select which exercises they wanna do. So the exercises are gonna be classified in some way. And you're gonna click on like the classification of exercise. There's gonna be a drop-down list of exercises that fit within that classification that you can choose from. So you're gonna pick the exercises that you know what to do. So I'm probably not, I mean, there's some exercises that might be a little bit ambiguous for what they are, I guess. But for those ones, I don't know, people should know what they are for the most part, especially if you're familiar with my content. You're already invested, so you probably know what's going on. Are there any exercises that I do myself that I would not program for my clients? This is a great question. Not in principle. No, in principle, I don't think so. I mean, part of the exercise selection process is going to be choosing exercises that have consistent and repeatable technique, trying to minimize the deviations in technique. So with exercise selection, outside of like some of the goofy Olympic lift variations or tricks that I do, no, but we're still like, everyone's gonna start with like the very basic movement patterns: hinging, deadlifting, squatting, front squat, back squat, Zercher squat, box squat are almost always gonna be like the squat patterns. As far as pulling, it's almost always gonna be deadlift, RDL, stiff leg deadlift, snatch grip, RDL. And then like, as the training age increases for my clients, then we can start including more and more variations. So like in principle, I don't see why anybody can't do a lot of the exercises that I do. However, it takes time to build up the training age in order to feel comfortable in introducing more and more variety, where the range of motion changes a little bit, the application of the load changes a little bit. All these different things, they kind of change the way the stimulus or the load is applied to the body. But like I said, in principle, there's no exercises that I do that I wouldn't prescribe. It would just be based on the training age of the individual and their level of comfortability with each exercise. And each variation as it kind of, the ripple effect kind of breaks away from the main, the base movement. Thoughts on stretching between exercises? My hips seem to get pretty tight, and I figured I'd want your take on stretching between exercises. Yeah, I guess that really is just a personal preference. For me, I like to just chill between exercises. I think the best time to stretch, if you're gonna like dedicate time to stretching, is just at like some other time during the day. Maybe it's right away in the morning or before you go to sleep as you're watching TV. That's for me, that would be the best time to stretch, if I'm like watching TV before bed, because I'm not doing anything else productive, so you may as well stretch, which I don't do, but I probably should. But as far as like stretching between exercises, I like to just chill, man. I need to lock in, totally lock out between exercises and just relax. I guess I'm not really doing that when I answer questions here, but I'm just sitting down, relaxing. I don't know, I feel like for me, doing an exercise, like a hard set of an exercise, and then locking in for another 30 to 60 seconds or however long you want to hold a stretch for, I wouldn't be good at that. But I know some people like it. I'm not opposed to it. So if you like doing that, go ahead. And if you feel like it helps you kind of like unlock your hips a little bit because you want to do a pigeon pose, or you want to do the world's greatest stretch, or 90-90 hip flips, or whatever exercise, whatever stretching exercise you like to do, I think you should absolutely do it if you feel like it's productive for you. So, all right, coming up on the last set here, I got 555 on the bar. I'm really happy with how my top set went and my two back off sets that I've done already. So let's make 555 a good one too. One more, here we go. So I didn't realize until I started doing my warm-ups for front squats, I forgot my belt for the deadlifts, but whatever. I'm supposed to be doing upper body first. Front squats is supposed to be the last thing of the day, but I know they're gonna suck. I wanna get them out of the way. This is not gonna be fun, so I'm doing them first. That way I kind of give myself a little treat or like dessert with the upper body stuff that's a little less stressful. So going off plan a little bit here. How should I go about strengthening a sticking point when I squat? High bar ATG. Everyone has the same sticking points, dude. I don't know if this is like a controversial take or not. I just think it's the correct take, but I don't think sticking points really exist. Sticking points may exist if you specialize in the sport of powerlifting, I guess, where like you're really honing in on the skill of lifting the bar. But like for most people, everyone has the same sticking points. Like in the bottom of a squat, that's the sticking point for everybody, so I wouldn't call it a sticking point. But how do you train through it? You just keep getting more high quality reps of squatting with heavy weight, training through it. I don't think there's any like special method to train through it. I don't necessarily think that like overcoming isometrics at the bottom of that squat is gonna do it. I don't necessarily think pause squats are gonna like really improve that sticking point for you. That stuff will work in terms of like for novelty's sake, but I don't think that's like specifically addressing the sticking point issue. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, like I said, I don't really think sticking points exist. The sticking point of the squat is at the bottom of the squat because that's where you have like the most mechanically disadvantaged positions. You look at the bar placement. Look at Mark Rippetoe's the cover of Mark Rippetoe's book, Starting Strength. Bottom of a squat, see where the bar is from the side, see where the hip angle is, see where the hip is, see where the knee is. You have the greatest distance, greatest horizontal distance, the greatest moment arm. from the hip to the bar, the knee to the bar. Therefore, it requires more effort to move about those given joints. So I don't know if I even answered your question, but you just keep training through it, dude. I wouldn't say there's any sort of specialized plan of attack for that. I changed my mind on that, actually. Pin squats from the bottom of the squat position, as deep as you can get. Pin squats from that position. You're going to start squatting up, and you're going to feel like the bar is not budging at all. You're going to have to drive into that bar for an extra, depending on how heavy it is, you might be having to drive into the bar an extra 1, 2, maybe 3 seconds before that bar actually moves, and then you create some momentum driving it out of the hole. That would be the exercise I suggest you use, pin squats. Great decision to squat first. Now I'm going to move on to the upper body. Larson pin press. All right, moving on to the Larson press or Larson pin press here. This is going to be set 1 at 320. Would I ever incorporate advanced calisthenics, planche push-ups? I don't know what those are. Front lever rows? I don't know what those are either. One-arm chin-ups and handstand push-ups and their regressions. Seems like they'd be really stimulative for someone at higher body weight and muscularity like yourself. So aside from those specific examples, planche push-ups and front lever rows, I don't know what those are, but yeah, absolutely. Like I'll do one-arm inverted rows, one-arm push-ups, and then with the one-arm, like body weight push-ups, it's hard for me to load because you're not going to like stack 3 plates on your back by yourself without a partner, but you can do one-arm push-ups. But then still, if you can't do a real one-arm push-up, you can do a band-assisted one-arm push-up, and then you can scale it up and down based on the height of the band, the size of the band. So yeah, like I'm a proponent of doing advanced calisthenics. Some of them are just like hard to progress or like track progression. But yeah, I think that stuff's all really good, man. Do I prefer full body splits over other splits? For what I'm trying to accomplish right now, I do, because the frequency is high. So what I'm doing right now is 3 full body days and then 1 upper body day. So I'm really hitting the upper body at a frequency of 4 and then the lower body at a frequency of 3. I'm doing what I would consider like a squatting movement 3 times a week, and then I'm doing a pulling movement 2 times a week, with one of those days also being like what I would call like hamstring movement. So I'm hitting like the frequency per muscle group is high with the split that I'm doing with the 3 full body days and the 1 upper body day. So for what I'm trying to accomplish right now, I think the full body split plus the 1 upper body day works really well. But the split you use is definitely going to be dependent on the goal, the time that you have allocated to training, what other activities you're performing outside of the gym. So, but with what I'm doing right now, full body splits working out really well. Hey Will, do you still program dips on Haas Concurrent? I watch a majority of your new training videos and it never looks like you do them. Is there a reason for this? Or you simply just like to prioritize bench, overhead press, incline press as your main upper body push? Yeah, so in the Haas project too, like I was talking about with exercise selection, dips are gonna be included for an exercise that you can select for some of the classifications of exercises, but I just haven't been using them. But yeah, I'm not opposed to using dips anymore. This summer, I definitely will be doing more dips than I'm doing now. So. Okay, last thing of the day here, high incline press off pins. I got 263 pounds on the bar. So I got the 2 plates, I got the 10 I got a 5, a 2.5, a 1 pound, and a half pound. That's what those, the green is a 1 pound, the blue, little blue is a half pound. So 263 on the bar. Here's set 1. How long do my workouts take on average? On average, it's hard to say. I'm 65 minutes into this one, according to my Apple Watch. On average, it's hard to say because if you're trying to gauge like how long would it take you to do the same training session I'm doing, it's hard to say because the amount of weight on the bar you're using for working sets is definitely going to affect like how many warm-up sets you need. Just like the sense of urgency you have from transitioning from one exercise to the next exercise. All of these things play a factor, but for me, so I'm 60, now I'm 66 minutes into this. I'll be done right around 70, 71, 72 minutes today. So a little under an hour 15. Deadlift days always take me longer because that's the heaviest exercise I'm gonna do for the week, so I need more warm-up sets, but I guess that's pretty average for me. The upper body days take me a little under 60, usually 50 to 55 minutes, so yeah. Have you considered if you're going to teach/endorse your kids the importance of training the fitness lifestyle, not only in terms of physical abilities being developed, but also from a mental health aspect, or would you sit back and just let them pursue it if they please? I think my daughter's already really active. She comes in here with me all the time, picks up the medicine balls, picks up like the 5-pound plates. I think just her being around me training all the time, my wife comes in here several times a week and trains. I think my daughter's probably just gonna pick up on it with probably all my other future kids too. I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna have to teach them like the mental health, the psychological benefits of training, because they're probably just going to intuitively understand that. I think anyone who just follows a lifestyle of fitness understands it. So, yeah. All right, let's hit this next set. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thanks for watching as I'm cramping up here. See you next video.